What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Footballers. My name is Tony, and you can follow me down below at Lineman Football. Today's video, we're going to be looking at the top 5 Lineman cleats on the market right now. Okay, so first off, with some of these cleats, I don't actually have all of them here. However, I have talked to Adidas, I have talked to Nike, I have tested a lot of them, and I have owned some of them in the past. So although I don't have all of them here to show you guys, I am going to use some pictures from some of my partners, and we're going to insert those. Now, a couple pairs of cleats that are going to be featured in today's video were given to me by FB Cleat Heat. He will be linked in the description down below. The dude has like every kind of cleat on the market. I don't even know how he has some of the stuff he has, some of these player editions. So make sure to check him out. He's got a ton of awesome stuff. Okay, now number 5 is going to be the Adidas Freak Carbon. Now these cleats, depending on where you're looking at, they kind of retail between like 40 to 100 bucks depending on like sales, retail price. They do come in a couple different colorways. Now as far as the traction plate on the cleat, it's going to be the exact same as the Adidas Nasty right. Yo, it's Tony while I'm editing this video. So actually by doing a little bit more research, I found out that the Adidas Freak traction plate is slightly different than the Adidas Nasty I'm showing right here. Now with this traction plate, it's actually a little bit longer studs than showed on this Adidas Nasty, and they are a little bit wider, but they are still circular studs. Now it's the same traction plate that Devin reviewed with the Adidas Boost cleats, and he wasn't really a big fan of it there either. Find them on a good deal, so that's why they're included at number 5 on the list. Okay, coming in at number 4 is going to be the Adidas Nasty 2020s. Now the reason I'm ranking these higher than the Adidas Freak is because they're almost the identical cleat, aside from really a couple small things. So number 1 is going to be the width here of the toe box. So they made the Adidas Nasty slightly wider on the toe box, which is really good for linemen, and that's why it ranks higher. The second thing with the Adidas Nasty is the collar goes a little bit higher on your ankle, so you get a little bit more ankle support. And as far as the overall materials of the two, they're pretty much the exact same. It's a full fake leather TPU upper here. It comes in a couple pieces, but it's going to be a really decent durable cleat. It's not going to be as much as like the Force Savage, but that means it's slightly less durable, but also more breathable. So although Adidas does not make a true lineman cleat the way like Nike does, Adidas still does give you a couple really good options if you want to rock with something that can work for like a couple different positions. Now these ones are going to be a little bit more expensive than the Freak. If you're trying to pick these up, they're going to be around 130 bucks. Okay, coming in at number 3, I'm actually going to go show the previous year's model and last year's model of the exact same cleat. And the reason is because depending where you're looking, they're kind of tough to find, and they have a lot of similarities, but some key differences. We're looking at the Nike Force Savage Elite TD2s and the updated model from last year. Now, these are a very similar cleat to the Nike Force Savage Pros. You can see that they're a really similar traction plate. It's this year's model is a little bit beefed up version of it, but we do still have all the triangle studs. They're still really nice and long along the outside. The only thing that this doesn't have for the traction plate that the other one has is going to be the ones around the edge. Now the other thing they changed from this is 2 years ago's model to last year's is going to be the ankle straps on here. This one relies entirely on laces, where the other one is all Velcro straps. Now those have your kind of pros and cons, right? Some people will really want the laces so they can like really lock their foot in, where other people are going to want the Velcro straps because if you're wearing gloves, it's super easy. Now again, depending on where you look and where you're trying to pick them up, you can find them between like 64 to like 130 bucks. I think FB Cleat Heat does have a couple pairs of these right now. He did send me these as well really recently. Now one thing I actually really like over last year's model over this year's was going to be the material on the outside here, and that's going to be, this is just a more breathable version if you want to pick it up here. You can see this one's more like a mesh material all around here, where you're not as concerned with the durability, and because of that they could add a bunch of vent ports. The mesh is more breathable, they can do it in a couple more pieces, so it's a little bit better in that way. I also do like this texture on the front. I do think it looks really dope, and there are some big NFL guys that still, this is their preferred cleat. Trent Williams still uses these pretty frequently. Now if you do have wide feet, you cannot rock these cleats. They're just too narrow in a profile for wide feet. They're even narrower than the Nike Force Savage Pros. Yeah, they're good for linemen, but it's like they just need to work on, if they're making a lineman cleat, they need to make it a little bit wider. So number 3 is going to be the Nike Force Savage Elite TD2s in the 2 different models, depending on if you want either a lacing system and more breathability, or you want more protection and the Velcro system. Number 2 is going to be the Nike Force Savage Pros. Now the reason these are slightly higher than the Nike Force Savage Elite TD2s is going to be they have a slightly wider toe box to them, number 1. Number 2 is going to be they have the benefits of both an ankle strap and laces, so you kind of get the best of both worlds there. This is a super durable upper that's going to have like no issues at all as far as protection goes. The menace plate on the bottom is also incredibly crazy. You have 14 triangle studs, 4 side studs on the side for your lateral movement, and then you have another 6 small triangles in the middle. You can also see the way that they beefed up that pattern on the inside, where this one is even more bumpy than this one to add even more grip. These ones come in like 20 different colorways. You can pick them up in like an orange or an orange on orange. So you kind of have like 2 orange colorways. There'll be 2 yellow, 2 white. There's crazy amounts of these. I have found them for as cheap as $40 on eBay in the past, and they do retail for $130. So it kind of depends where you're picking up. If you can't find them on anywhere, FB Cleat Heat does have a couple pairs of these. He sent these to me. So check him out down below. These are gonna be number 2. Okay, now the last one, number 1, I don't have here. I actually ended up giving a pair to a kid and letting him keep them because he needed some cleats. But I don't regret it. So they are gonna be the Jordan 10 Retro Mids. And there's gonna be a couple reasons for that. Number 1 is gonna be they're $109. You can still readily find them. So they're a really good, reasonable price. Number 2 is gonna be the materials used. So they're using the same materials. It's like a leather TPU, which means it has the best of both worlds as far as a good level of protection, but you still get some really good breathability. The Jordans have also always been really good for wide feet, which is nice to see. You can also pick them up with a Lunar Lawn midsole around here, so it adds another level of comfort. And finally, the traction plate's not the best. It's the same traction plate that was used on the original Nike Elite TD2 cleats. So it's okay. And it's gonna be pretty similar to this Menace one right here. So you can see it's a lot of triangle studs. You have a couple side ones for lateral movement, a couple in the middle, toe here, and these on the back. It's actually almost identical to this traction plate that I have here. So it's not the best, but it's definitely, I think this traction plate is still better than even this year's edition of the Adidas Nasty. I'd still prefer this one. Plus, like, the amount of colorways that come in this thing are incredible. Again, if you do want to pick some up, FB Cleat Heat does have some, so check him out down below. And they're just a sick looking cleat. As far as like design and aesthetics go, it's like the most swaggy lineman cleat. And I think that's why so many people are attracted to it. It's not the best at any one thing by far, but it's the best overall cleat currently made for linemen. So there you guys go. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Let me know if your cleats did or did not make the list and how you feel about that. Now again, if you do want to pick up any of the cleats I featured in today's video, FB Cleat Heat has them all. He'll be linked in the description down below. Really cool guy. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching.